Good afternoon. It is 4 p.m. So we're bringing you the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Regina Lay, sitting in for Ed Lingao. And some stories we're watching this Wednesday, February 26. Authorities have identified the syndicate behind the kidnapping of a senior high school student in an exclusive school in Taguig. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla said they are certain that the suspects were former POGO operators in the country. Remulla also believes that the sole motive behind the kidnapping was money, but insisted that no ransom was paid. The NBI has arrested 3 Filipinos and 2 Chinese nationals for alleged espionage. Authorities have also seized high-tech equipment, including an IMSI catcher capable of intercepting mobile signals and data. The suspects allegedly operated near military bases like Villamor Air Base, Camp Aguinaldo, Camp Crame, as well as Malacanang and the U.S. Embassy. And also, we've got another survey on our hands, and this time, 8 candidates from the administration-backed Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas remain in the top 12 of the latest SWS, or Social Weather Station, senatorial survey. ACT-CIS Representative Erwin Tulfo continues to lead the poll with 45% voter preference. Senator Bongo follows in second place with 38%. He is the biggest gainer in this round. We'll break those numbers down further later in the show. Joining us today, Storycon's resident political pundit, Ronald Llamas. Stop looking at your phone, my friend. There's a lot of news to dissect. And from the Philippine Star, Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Ami, where are you? There you go.
Happy
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, Ami. Happy Wednesday, Reg.
Happy Wednesday. Dami na nangyari.
Yeah,
Wednesday pa lang. Okay.
Natatawa lang ako pag ini-introduce mo ako sa resident political pundit.
Hindi ba dapat resident political pundit?
Medyo seryoso ka eh. Si Ed Lingao kasi merong ngisi.
So hindi yun serious. It should be, what should it be? Man of mystery? Edu, what do they call you online? Edu Manzanas?
Let us not go there.
We don't want to go there.
The thorn na lang, the thorn. The thorn among the roses.
Yan. Pwede.
The thorn.
Akala ko si Manny mo kato ang thorn eh.
Thorn in our side ba?
Thorn on our side.
The roses lang.
Thorn on our side. Okay, let's discuss some of the headlines that we're tackling today. John Vic Remulla, Interior Secretary, held a press briefing this afternoon to talk about 2 issues. Number 1 is yung the kidnapping incident with the boy from an exclusive school in Taguig. He says nahuli na. Na-recover na yung boy except with the severed finger and no ransom was paid.
Yeah. Very kwandito
Hindi daw totoo yung severed finger. Anyway, yan ang sabi sa Chinoy community. Although the boy is not Chinoy, he's a mainlander.
Yeah.
Hindi siya Chinoy.
Yeah.
Anyway, ang daming video na lumalabas, no? Tapos
Yes.
tapos syempre hindi naman magsasalita yung pamilya, no?
Yes.
Pero
Ang tanong lang, nahuli ba? Hindi nahuli, no?
Hindi pa nahuli. So,
identified na raw.
Yes.
Remulla says they know who the perpetrators are and they will capture them. It's a syndicate, but we don't know. He didn't promise any timelines. We don't know when it might happen. And of course, it's still causing quite a lot of concerns kasi nga, if sindikato to and it's known to you guys, why haven't we done anything about it, right?
At saka politically explosive dahil yung main line of attack nila Digong at nung mga vloggers nila ay crime. Tumataas na naman ang crime.
Yun na nga.
Kinukumpara nila sa panahon ni Digong. Kaya talagang kinakailangang umaksyon ng gobyerno, especially yung head ng DILG.
Yes. Actually, he was asked that during the press conference.
Talaga?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ami.
May statement nga from Malacanang that President Marcos wants the PNP to wipe out the kidnapping threat. So we'll see.
He was
nagagawa naman niya noon. Remember nung panahon ni FVR at the height of the kidnappings, prinatigil naman eh.
Pero kailangan, Ami,
Ganun siya.
kailangan, Ami, marami ka rin ipipurge sa PNP. Dahil marami rin
Yes.
na napatunayan na involved sa ganyang klaseng mga kidnap for ransom. May mga pulis din
And
na nahuli
kung
dati.
hindi sila yung involved, sila yung nag-organize.
Yes.
Kapreo ng mga kurotong baleleng, yung mga ganon. Kasama sila, pati Abu Sayyaf, pulis siya nag-organize na. Kaya lang, they would get out of control or yung pulis nga mismo ang kumikita.
I think si Remulla made mention of ex-AFP officials during the press con, but I don't know if he was referring to the kidnapping incident or iba pang incident. We'll find out from the reporter later. But also, to your point, he was asked if yung about the perception na tumataas na naman yung crime incidents here.
Yes. Especially petty
And of
crimes.
course, he denied it, saying that they're actually more equipped to fight crime, and he was pointing to the fact na mabilis daw naman nahuli recover yung boy in this instance, and then he was also asked about the fact that he keeps pointing to POGOs. So whether it's that's an roundabout way of saying, well, it's the previous administration's fault. And he denied it, as expected. He said, no, we're just pointing to the facts, which is this is, according to them, a POGO-related incident.
Kaya lumalabas din yung possibility na may mga involved na mga former armed forces, former police.
Yes.
Dahil in the past, as well as in the present, yung may wherewithal to do these things, no? Intelligence, safe houses, arms, at saka tapang na gawin ito, usually nanggagaling dun sa ganong klaseng sektor. No? Kaya hindi nakakagulat.
Yeah.
No, na lumalabas sila.
What do you have to say about the fact that it took 5 days? And in the end, the boy was found abandoned along Macapagal Avenue. So they said, sabi nila, they were in hot pursuit of the vehicle. But in the end, the kidnappers dropped off the boy along Macapagal. What can you say about that?
At wala daw ransom.
Wala daw ransom, correct, according to them.
Kaya, hindi natin alam naman yung mga detalye. No? Ang sinasabi lang natin ngayon ay baka marami rin sa sinasabi ng gobyerno ay nasa level pa ng conjecture. Sabi nila, mga POGO ito, kung alam nyo pala so bakit hindi nahuli? Tapos merong indications na baka may involved ng mga police officers, bakit mga indications lang? So, ano ba to? Is it the tail wagging the dog? So, kailangan mas maging konkreto sila. At pinakamahalaga, mahuli talaga. Kung hindi nila mahuli, magpapatuloy yung mga banat.
Yes.
Politically.
Yes.
Doon sa kanilang mga political rivals and enemies.
Yes. Correct. I mean,
Pag
yes, go
hindi
ahead, Ani.
nahuli, baka maulit. Baka may kidnapin ulit. Di ba? Pero ang most likely dyan merong mainland involvement din I mean, mainland personalities sa suspects. Kasi kilala nila kung sino mayaman daw yung bata Kilala nila kung sino yung tatargetin. And that's a very expensive school, yung pinagkunan sa kanya. Alam nila kung paano intercept. So yun na nga, sabi mo Ronald, may impacto dito sa gobyerno dahil yun ang criticism ng mga Duterte sa mahina daw. Although, regular ngayon ang paglalabas ng PNP ng mga bulletin na bumababa daw ang index crimes. Yan. Kung saan-saan, all over the Philippines. Siguro, we can put that in context kasi nung nakaraang administrasyon ang gumagawa ng krimen, kung totoo yung kinalabasan ng mga Quadcom yung gobyerno mismo, di ba? Yan ang accusation. Merong systematic killing attributed to government forces in the previous administration. Kaya siguro, we can put that in context kung ano yung sitwasyon noon, peace and order noon at peace and order ngayon.
Right, exactly. Well, let's put a pin on this conversation because we now have to bring in our first guest. And our first guest for today is Strat-based Group President Dindo Manhit. He joins us on the line to talk about the latest SWS senatorial survey, which the Strat-based commission, and actually which was only released this afternoon. So this is hot off the oven. Dindo, hi, can you hear me?
Hi, good afternoon, Regina. Good afternoon, Ami and Ronald.
Good afternoon, Dindo.
Hi, Dindo.
Yeah.
Hi, Dindo. First, bird's eye view of your impressions of this latest senatorial survey. I note na wala naman masyado, nothing much has changed from the previous month's survey, save for the fact that the number 2 spot is now belongs to Senator Bongo, as opposed to former Senate President Tito Soto, and then the biggest gainer this time around was Senator Bong Revilla. But what are your overall impressions?
When you look at the result of social weather station, you would see at least 8 of the administration candidate is in the magic 12, but at least number 13 and 14 are what you call within the margin of error. So it can swing to be a 9 or 10 for the administration. But it also needs to be seen that the administration coalition also need to reflect because they came out strong. But how come Bongo is way up there? So that means when they came out strong, malakas ang rally, ingay, na gagaling even from the president himself. But we need to remind ourselves if they really want a strong senatorial victory for the administration, it cannot simply be. They need to define the campaign itself and what are the key issues. And I don't think they should limit it to the president's speeches. So we need really the team of Alyansa ng Bagong Pilipinas to see themselves as championing important issues that voters can attach to so they can really come into the mid part of the election kung saan papasok na rin ang mga local campaigns stronger in terms of messaging. Kasi pagpasok ng local campaigns, we can expect really maybe different numbers for the administration candidate.
Dindo, nire-recognize na ba ngayon sa survey na si Amy Marcos is part of the administration slate? Dahil yung mga previous surveys kasi hindi ganun kalinaw eh. Dahil di ba siya na mismo nagsabi na wala siya sa slate ng admin. Pero nitong nakaraan ay sumama na siya sa luwag. Pero dito for this survey ba ay considered na siya as admin?
Maaring hindi pa rin, Ronald, kasi sumama siya sa lawag pero bumitaw siya sa ibang kampanya, no? Which is for me a mistake really ni Senator Amy na she is identified with her family name and she will never get votes from the Duterte. So whatever that strategy is doesn't really work for her. That's why she continues to be. And if you remember, ano pa siya, maganda ang posisyon niya nung klaro pa na kakampi siya ni Marcos, but when he started to be acting like as independent and even aligned with the Dutertes, he has fallen.
Yes.
Dindo, speaking of issues, are you seeing any particular issue that's driving the numbers? Parang medyo diverse yung collection ng 1 to 12 eh. Meron bang strong halimbawa? Ay, segue natin dun sa umpisa namin. Is peace and order an issue, for example? Ano ba yung mga issue na nag-drive? Parang yung mga matutulungin lang yan ng mga tao eh, na nakikita natin. Yung mga perceived ng tao na nakakatulong sa kanila directly.
Peace and order is not an issue considering it's socio-economic is driving it. Nung binanggit ko lang yung issue is more of how do the Alyansa or the coalition of President Marcos define themselves as a group and really build on the capacity or the strength or the political capital of the president, but with them, the campaign itself, driving the issue, no? Instead of simply moving from one event to another. If the objective of the alliance or yung alyansa strong showing para kay Pangulo sa Senate, no? That means they have to target the opposite, the kalaban, which is basically Senator Bongo, Bato de la Rosa, and others. No?
In relation sa sinabi mo, Dindo, na they have to act as a team. Pero dito sa mga simula at saka latest na sorties nila, parang nagsosolo yung presidente sa kanyang mga atake sa mga Duterte. No? Very sharp yung kanyang atake sa Tokhang, sa management ng COVID pandemic, sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea, sa corruption ng previous administration. Pero parang mag-isa lang siya. Walang sumisegunda sa kanyang mga kasama sa entablado. Parang they're not working as a team, no? So far, itong past 2 weeks. So, anong epekto nito dito sa slate or even with the image of the president?
Yun ang aking punto, Ronald, no? Na imagine if the president issues those strong statements, nasisegundahan, or susuporta ng hindi ng candidate lang itself, but the whole campaign. No? Kung meron bang spokesperson tong kandidato, then mas lalakas yung messaging ng Pangulo. But if it's only the President who keeps on raising these issues na valid naman, nakikita rin namin ito sa aming mga ibang survey questions, valid, at may suporta sa taong bayan, mas lalakas yung ugong na mga sinasabi ng Pangulo. But right now, parang binubuksan mo pa ang Pangulo na maatake kasi siya lang ay tumitira. No? Unless that is the strategy. But if that's the strategy, then dapat lumalakas yung mga kandidato niya on their own. Pero steady lang, o iba bumababa pa. No? Yun ang aking concern dito. Kahit, of course, this is just a snapshot of the first few weeks of the campaign. Tingnan natin as we enter March or even April. But we need their messaging to be strong, focused, saka yung repetitive yung narrative nila, and it has to jive with the President's narrative and messaging also.
I would tend to agree that there might be a messaging problem here because when you said Alianza candidates should be championing issues voters are attached to, so far wala pang one cohesive message that they've put out that really resonated. For instance, a few weeks ago on The Big Story, we had campaign manager Toby Tiangco, and he kept talking about the fact that their theme is, in a sense, still unity, right? Bagong Pilipinas. And they haven't been able to answer the question of how can it be Bagong Pilipinas when they're all old faces and old names, right? They're all, and a lot of them are from political dynasties, for instance. So parang hindi, there seems to be a bit of a dissonance there, at least to me. And then secondly, on the other side, in terms of messaging, do you feel like the Duterte allies branding themselves as now the opposition is working?
They are positioning themselves, no, referring to the Duterte allies. So the best is define themselves as opposition and define the Alianza based on the issues raised by the President himself as the key message, the key campaign messaging. There should be unity in terms of addressing those issues. No? We cannot expect really unity of new political faces, new political ideas, but really unity on the direction of the Philippines. And that's what the candidates of the President should project consistently among themselves. And that's what I feel lacking if they want really a strong showing. But if they're happy to be in this position, parang you're basically selling individual candidates, not the coalition of the President.
Talking about unity, Dindo, bakit, hindi ba natatanong, bakit yung campaign manager at yung number one sa survey sa administrate ay hindi bumoto for impeachment? Knowing na isa sa cutting edge issue ngayon sa usapin ng unity ay impeachment. Hindi ba natatanong yon na mismo yung campaign manager at yung number one sa slate?
Labas masasagot ko yun because I would refer only to certain questions. Pero klaro rin naman na may kahit pa paano may suporta. Maaaring hindi pa mayorya ang suporta sa impeachment, pero maliit din ang hindi sang-ayon. So parang gumigit na yung issue na impeachment. So baka naman hindi naman kasi dapat itong campaign issue yung impeachment, o baka yung dapat ang campaign issue yung issue inside the impeachment, di ba? Yung pananagutan sa paggastos ng mga confidential funds, pananagutan sa paggalaw ng pera sa Department of Education. Baka mas gustong pag-usapan ng tao yun kasi issue of governance is important more than impeachment.
Pero
Also,
hindi ba,
economic
personality-driven tayo din do eh. Yun ang tatanong ko, are you saying yung position, whether you are pro or against the Dutertes, are you seeing any impact dyan sa numbers? Early days pa naman, pero may nakikita ba kayong ganung trend na kung yung kandidato pro, for or against, o basta kanya-kanya lang talaga yan?
Ngayon nga, ang nakalulungkot pag titingnan natin yung alyansa, di ba? Because they call themselves the new unity, is parang kanya-kanya, na hindi dapat. Lalong-lalo na kung sumasakay sila sa political capital ng Pangulo. Dapat they're one united senatorial straight standing up on certain issues with the President. No? Yung kay Duterte, klaro kung sino yung kandidato niya, pero if you've noticed also, nag-i-individual si Bongo at saka si De La Renta. You see less of the face of President Duterte or Sara even with them. Diba? Talaga yung kung ano yung kanilang, maybe because they had 6 years of being senator. But if you are the other side, you should identify them with Duterte. So if will it remove votes from them or not, that is something that we can track moving forward.
Kung sakasakaling balancing act lang to, Dindo, kasi several candidates niyang alyansa, sabi nila, yung unang-unang araw pa lang, yung launch pa lang nila, sinabi nila, nag-negative campaigning yung endorser namin, pero kami, we're not going there. Hindi kami magne-negative. So, sa tingin mo, hindi ba deliberate siya na si President Marcos yung babanat, pero yung mga kandidato hindi? You think that that's deliberate and you think it will work in the long run during the campaign?
I think it's deliberate. It's their strategy right now. Is it working? Maybe not. Diba? Kasi how can the president have separate posturing tapos sila hindi? Shouldn't they be even echoing on the issues? No? Huwag nang pumasok sa below personality level, pero kung nagsasalita ang Pangulo tungkol sa mga EJK issues in the past, sa mga issues tungkol sa pananagutan sa pondo, tungkol sa pro-China, dapat, this is not attacking, this is raising issues. So that's where I think baka may confusion on the public. Kung hindi, you will just get individual senators riding through the administration of President Marcos, but winning on their own. Ang takot ko lang doon kanya-kanya ngayon, baka kanya-kanya rin pag nanalo.
Tama.
Dindo, talaga naman laging kanya-kanya lagi. Dindo.
Dindo, usually yung mga surveys na ganyan.
Alyansa tawag nila. Kaya.
Alyansa. Usually, Dindo, yung mga surveys na ganyan, hindi lang itong Senate survey, party list survey ang kasama. Meron pa bang ibang mga kasamang components itong survey na ito? Halimbawa, yung lumabas na bagong survey ngayon ng WR numero ay nakafocus dun sa approval rating ng Vice President at saka President. Na medyo dramatic, dramatic yung resulta. Dito ba sa SWS may ganun ding bahagi yung survey or focus lang talaga sa Senate at saka sa party list?
Meron din naman at pati mga issues. Ito yung unang pinoprocess pa ng aming survey partner. Itong issue, itong mga ibang questions at ilalabas rin naman namin. Kasi required din na ilabas namin according to COMELEC rules itong mga election survey.
Yeah.
So, ilalabas, mapag-uusapan natin maybe the next few days then.
And then just very quickly, Dindo, last question. What do we make of the fact na yung so-called traditional opposition like former Senator Kiko Pangilinan and former Senator Bam Aquino are underperforming? So at the moment, they're at around 15 and between 16 to 17 roughly, and they haven't really moved much in the last several surveys.
This has been reflective of their own performance, lalo si Senator Bam as early as 2019, no? So they might have lost yung impact of the brand, which is the Aquino brand. Then really, they wasted a lot of political capital when they decided to keep quiet and moved on with life after the 2022 election. When I say with that, parang campaign ended, parang napabayaan ang supporters, and they're trying to get that support again. No, I don't know if you have enough time to do that. And you're competing with other candidates that has their own support base, no? And of course, sabi nga nung iba, at ako'y naniniwala dito, surveys are simply a stop shot. Then the machine comes in. Wala rin silang machine. Ang kandidato ni Pangulo, meron ng at least 8 of them pasok. May machine pang dadating as we move towards the latter part. So, makamaiwan.
Pwede pang madagdagan.
Okay. So it's going to be an uphill climb for them. But we're going to have to leave that there because I understand you have to go. So thank you so much for making time for us on Storycon. Dindo Manhit, President of StratBase Group.
Thank you.
Salamat, Dindo.
Thank you,
Sana
Dindo.
makasama ka namin ulit pag na-deconstruct nyo na yung other parts of the survey.
Yes, we'll be happy to share. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You are watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
Welcome back to Storycon. We have the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. I'm Regina Lay, sitting in for Ed Lingao. Still with me, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star via Zoom, and our Ronald Llamas, our political pundit. O, tinanggal na namin yung resident because he was complaining about it earlier. But next up,
I was just joking.
next up, we've got on the line Maricel Halili, who covered the Malacanang press conference earlier with Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla. Maricel, can you hear me okay? Mase, hi.
Hi, Rich. Actually, it's, the press briefing of Secretary Remulla is about the recovery of victim, kidnapped victim in Taguig. It has nothing to do with Malacanang, so hindi ko rin alam bakit yung ginawa yung press briefing. Anyway.
No, we were talking about it nga eh. So we know the boy was recovered, pero it was after a hot pursuit of the perpetrator's car. Tas iniwan siya sa Macapagal Avenue and no ransom was paid, according to Interior Secretary Remulla.
Yes, actually, binigyan niya yung timeline kanina of what happened. So they learned about the kidnapping incident last February 20. Hindi daw umuwi yung bata. After palabasan dun sa school in Taguig around 2:40 in the afternoon. So they filed the kidnapping case a day after that. And then last Saturday, the father of the victim asked for a proof of life from the kidnappers, and then they showed the video of the victim singing the favorite song of his sibling. Tapos meron pa daw ipinakita na video na pinuputol yung finger ng bata. And, yes, and then finally, nakita yung sasakyan na ginamit ng yung sasakyan ng victim somewhere in Bulacan. Pero kasama din sa sasakyan na yun, yung driver ng bata, but he was already murdered. Ang hindi malinaw kung bakit may mga naiwan na mga evidence dun sa sasakyan ng victim. Sinasabi kasi kanina ng DILG na may mga nakita daw doon na duct tape na pwede nilang makuhanan ng fingerprints. Tapos may mga uniform pa daw na naiwan doon. Siguro daw sa pagmamadali ng suspect, kaya daw naiwan doon yung mga gamit. But then, the DILG assured the public that they already have the identity of the suspects. Ito daw mga suspect na ito ay part ng isang malaking syndicate. Pero they did not divulge the identities of the suspects. Mukhang plano pa nilang magsagawa ng another pursuit operation para hanapin tong mga to.
So, confirm yung pinagdedebatihan dito sa social media na hindi naman daw totoo yung pagputol ng daliri. Para talagang pelikula, parang Narcos no? Yung nangyari, no? So, totoo yun, no? Na nangyari yun.
Totoo daw na nangyari kasi ang kinukwento ng PNP, nung makita daw nila yung bata na iniwan sa may Paranaque, meron daw bandage yung kamay niya. Tapos they confirmed na naputol daw talaga yung finger.
Pero kamusta naman yung bata? Kung naman siya, hindi naman siya affected psychologically? Anong status niya? Dahil kawawa naman yung bata no?
Ang explanation ni Secretary Remulla, mukhang matapang daw yung bata kasi hindi naman din daw umiyak when they found him. Tapos dinala daw dun sa father and mukhang okay naman daw. But still, pina-check pa rin nila. Dinala nila sa hospital but so far okay naman daw yung condition.
Maricel, yung tinatanong namin kanina, meron ba nagtanong sa kanila kung bakit sa Malacanang ngayang briefing ng isang crime story? Meron ba nagtanong?
Alam mo, Miss Abby, hindi rin namin maintindihan bakit doon ginawa yung briefing ng isang police story. Mukhang nagbigay din sila ng update sa Camp Crame kanina. Although ang explanation sa amin ng ilang members ng PCO, they had a meeting with President Bongbong Marcos earlier. Secretary Remulla talked to the President. So right after the meeting, they proceeded to the new executive building to conduct a press conference. So mukhang venue lang yung naging issue kaya napunta dyan kasi kakagaling niya lang sa meeting.
Pero tingin ko, Ami, Reg, ay dahil nga sa pinag-uusapan natin, nagiging political itong issue na ito. Kaya dyan sa Malacanang ginawa. Dahil yan ngayon yung isa sa main attack kay BBM at saka sa gobyerno, na yung crime ay tumataas, na dinelay naman ni Secretary Remulla, no? At saka specifically itong kasong ito ay makikita mo sa mga vloggers na pro Duterte na ito yung kanilang binebelabor.
And it's become very high profile.
Yes. Kaya hindi
Pero
nakakagulat.
mas maganda siguro, mas maganda kung mahuli yung di ba? Yan ang importante.
At ipepresent-
Kailangan mahuli yung suspect.
At Ami, represent sa Malacanang. Yung
At baka
nahuli.
nga sa yun ang siguro dapat nang tanungin, bakit nasa Malacanang to mga
Wait,
tao?
Mase, one thing that disturbed me though during the press con was Remulla confirming that yung bodyguards that the suspects used were ex-officials of the AFP and PNP.
Yes.
That's very worrisome. Tell us more.
Exactly. So, ang sinabi nga ni Secretary Remulla, yung ilan daw dun sa kasama dun sa mga suspect, mga former members ng AFP and PNP, na-identify na rin daw nila kung sino tong mga to. Meron na rin daw silang mga idea kung nasaan yung mga location nitong mga ng mga individuals na to. Pero hanggang dun pa lang, yung sinabi nila, kasi they don't want to preempt anything daw kasi nga meron pa daw silang isasagawang mga operations. Pero ang malinaw daw, yung mga lead characters dito sa insidente na to, mga foreigners. So parang foreigner versus foreigner. Dahil yung sinasabi nga nila, mukhang kinalaman daw sa POGO, itong issue na to. So parang ang tanong natin kanina, if it has something to do with POGO, what's the motive? Bakit nila kailangang mag-kidnap? Pero ang sabi ng Secretary Remulla, it has nothing to do with revenge. It's more like money. Gusto lang talaga nilang humingi ng pera, kaya ang hinihingi daw dun sa victim, umabot ng $20 million, US dollars. Pero hindi naman daw nagbigay ng ransom. Wala daw binigay na kahit na ano. So far,
Yun yung official version.
That's in that sense
ransom
something.
policy. Yan yung official version.
Parang there's something
Pero
wrong
actually,
there.
That's more than 1 billion yun, Reg.
Matagal ng maraming kaso na
$20
ng
million,
kidnapping for
yes.
ransom na link yung mga POGO Noon pa, kahit hindi pa sila na ban completely. At talaga namang mga bodyguard nila, hindi lang mga former military and police. In fact, yung ibang nahula, remember, may nahuling special action force na dumayo pa rito para mag-bodyguard sa mga POGO They were on active duty. Kaya talagang merong involvement dyan yung mga Philippine security officials.
Yes.
Ngayon, di natin alam kung anong connection yan dun sa press conference sa Malacanang.
Wait, maybe I have an answer to that. Kasi they didn't just talk about the kidnapping, they also talked about the EDSA busway incident naman, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Which is also becoming a
was
hot
very
issue.
careful in talking about the incident. Hindi nga, sabi nga niya, he will ask General Marbil to explain But other than that, hindi niya na in-elaborate. He's very careful about it. Natatawa-tawa nga lang siya when we were asking him about it. So para kasing, siyempre hindi rin kami makapaniwala na kanina pa pumutok yung story na yan, pero hindi mo kinausap si General Marbil what happened. Kasi yun yung sinasabi niya kanina, hindi pa raw niya nakakausap.
Tsaka wag natin kalimutan, Reg, tsaka Ami, Mase, 2.5 years ago, mismo si former DILG Secretary Abalos, hiningi yung courtesy resignation of all police officers. Dahil nga, para meron silang freedom na mag-purge ng mga tingin nila na link sa mga criminal organizations. No? Pero hanggang ngayon, hindi ko alam kung ilan ba yung natanggal, ilan ba yung nakasuhan.
Hundreds.
Meron
We know
din,
from
konti
Benner.
lang.
Konti lang
Ang nakasuhan yung mga link dun sa 6.7 billion shabu.
Sa
Pero yung kay
Ninja
Marbil
Cups.
na yan, merong statement from PNP na senior police officials daw yung nakasakay sa convoy na medyo mahirap paniwalaan kasi ang daming bodyguard ang daming kasamang escort May motorcycle, meron pang backup van, hindi basta-basta senior police official ang gumagamit ng ganon
So,
At saka hindi maglalakas ng loob yun na pumasok dyan.
Yeah.
Although ang sabi ng PNP, meron daw emergency lang na kailangan puntahan yung convoy.
Pero bakit
Yun
ayaw,
yung
ayaw
sa ngayon,
pangalanan? Ayaw pangalanan.
But at this point, we don't know yet if that was...
yung police official na yun. Napaka-VIP, no?
So basically, at this point, we don't know yet if that was carrying General Marbil, correct? Kasi hindi pa nila,
Yes.
ayaw nila i-confirm.
Oh,
Yes.
walang
Yes.
Police official daw.
neither confirm nor
Kasi
deny.
Marbil dapat the top police official, di ba?
But so
Pinipines pa yung istorya.
Oo, inaayos pa. Alam ni Ami
Naayos pa eh. Ano na, alas 4 na kahapon pa yan, kagabi pa yan eh.
what was
Kagabi pa yan.
ano daw yung next
Hanggang ngayon
steps?
wala pa nung ano.
Mase, ano daw yung next steps when it comes to that issue? Because as some people have pointed out, medyo it raises questions of abuse of authority, right? So ano daw yung, what's the next steps for them?
Well, sabi ni Secretary Remulla, he will still wait for the explanation of General Marbil. And then let's see what will happen. Kasi, yun nga, surprisingly, hindi niya pa nakakausap si General Marbil. At least yun yung kiniklaim ni Secretary Remulla. Basta ang sabi na lang niya, ang advice niya, huwag na lang daw dadaan dun sa EDSA busway, kagaya niya.
Well, and then accept the ticket na lang, no? Pag in case ma-issuehan sila ng ticket.
Baka ganun na Ami yung
Na-issuehan
pag-fines.
sila kagabi. Na-issuehan sila kagabi. You know, politically sensitive din yan kay President Marcos because Marbil just recently got extended.
Extended, yeah.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
Baka nga,
Kaya may tama din niya kung in-extend mo tapos nagkaganito.
baka nga
Diba?
bahagi yan ng pag-fines ng story. Huwag na lang kayo dumaan.
Well, we don't know that, but ang alam ko at this point in time is that will be closed soon anyways because they're doing an EDSA rehabilitation project, right, which is expected to start in mid-March.
Yeah.
But yun nga, we're gonna have to keep going back to the authorities to get some answers from them.
Yung mga license plate niya nakuha, yung convoy na yan,
Yeah.
nakuha lahat ng license plate.
Yeah.
May CCTV.
Yeah.
So, ganun ba ka? It takes one day, no, para malaman natin kung sino nakasakay.
Yeah.
Fines pa nga, sabi mo di ba?
Si General Marbil was asked about it. He said, I won't answer that kasi nakuha niyo na yung license plate right? But yun nga, he didn't answer it directly. He went around the question. But
An answer which is a no answer.
Yes or no lang yan, ano? Ronald, yes or no? Nakasakay ka ba dyan o hindi?
I won't
Diba?
answer that.
but
I'll take the fifth.
we'll plead the fifth. We'll let Mase go. I think that was all that happened at the Malacanang press conference earlier.
Sa
today.
Malacanang
Maricel,
Oo nga,
Maricel
Malacanang.
really reporting to us. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lahat na lang election issue. Kayo talaga. But I wanted...
Alam mo naman sa Pilipinas.
Issue yun sa administration, di ba? The peace and order situation.
Yes.
Yan ang ini-issue ng mga Duterte's in particular. Yan ang sinasabi nila. Si Bato de la Rosa is vocal about it.
Yan din,
He's a former
sinasabi.
chief, sinasabi niya lumalala ang ano ngayon, ang droga. Hindi ko naman kinikriticize si President Marcos, pero lumalala ang droga, lumalala yung criminality.
Nung
Sinasabi niya yun.
launching sa Club Pilipino, yan yung isa sa
Yes.
main team
Yes.
nila Digong.
Yes.
Kaya wag na kayong magulat kung bakit sa Malacanang sinasagot. Yung mga
But I have to say, at that Club Filipino rally, yung the very first thing that Digong brought up was yung rice prices. So
course.
economic issue pa rin, inflation issue pa rin.
rice,
That's even
employment.
worse.
Na hindi pa nasa-solve ng
Yeah.
current administration.
Rice, employment, at saka crime. Yun yung tatlo niyang sinabi.
Correct.
March 1, ibababa na yung maximum suggested retail price to 49 ng bigas, 49.
From 58.
Yeah. Hindi naman. Hindi bumaba na, di ba? 54 yata, 54.
You know, the tricky thing with the
Bumaba na March 1.
MSRP is that,
Starting March 1.
of course, it's still just a suggestion. right?
Yeah.
Yun yung tricky thing about
Yeah.
it. So I don't see...
It's a proposal. no?
I've asked the economic managers this. Ano yung point ng MSRP? Because you can't impose
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Right? That's not how a free market works. You cannot put price ceilings, price caps. So
Yes.
anong nagagawa ng MSRP? And so far, I don't think there's been a very...
Pero it's dragging down the numbers of the president and the
Yes.
government.
Issue
Major
yun.
yan, no? Major yan. Bumababa daw ang inflation, pero ang food inflation remains high. So, lalo na, election year.
Right.
No? At itong mga surveys na lumalabas, ay nagtitake talaga ng toll ito sa presidente.
Yes.
No? Kaya, hindi siya simpleng bagay. No? Dahil yung government to government, mababa ang bilihan. Halimbawa sa Myanmar, it was 54
Yes.
pesos. No? Government to government yan. Bakit 58? Bakit
Yes.
49? No, dapat
Global rice prices are actually down
dapat
Global rice prices. Tapos binagsak na natin yung tariff. Ang nawala daw sa gobyerno sa rice revenue, rice tariff revenue, 70% na daw na down.
Yeah.
Because of that, the implementation. Pero hindi sumusunod yung retail prices ng bigas.
Yes. At Reg, huwag
Diba?
niyo kalimutan, Ami, may rumors of a cabinet revamp. Kung
yes.
hindi
Yes.
aayusin ng
Matagal na
sekretary.
yung rumors na yan.
Hindi, pero nagsimula na, dalawa na eh.
Tatlo na.
May mini revamp ka na, di ba?
Yes, oo.
Tapos may susunod pa raw. Baka tamaan itong agriculture secretary kung hindi niya maayos yan. Dahil yung bumabatak sa growth natin is agriculture. Di ba?
Kung ako yung Agriculture Secretary Ronald, magre-resign na ako. Napakahirap ng trabaho niya. Balik na ako dun sa private, dun sa negosyo ko, malaki kinikita ng
Oo
negosyo
nga,
niya.
Taipan ka naman,
Balik
di ba?
na ako dun.
Oo.
I was just gonna say because it's a incredibly difficult job, to be fair to
Yes.
him, and you know we do know that he goes to the markets, he does the rounds, nag-inspection ng mga stalls, and in one of those inspections he said na marami sila na-discover na illegally imported vegetables and other produce, and then yung when it comes to rice naman, yung I can't remember what the term is. Yung tinatawag, yung hinahalo na nila.
Yes, yes.
Adulterated.
Yes,
Is it adulterated
yes,
rice?
yes.
They mix the fancy rice with
Yeah.
the lesser quality rices. They sell it at the really high
Malaki
price.
kita ron.
Oo.
Malaki
Yun na
kita
nga.
ron. Oo.
So that's one of the reasons why
Paano mo
hindi
yung
bumababa.
monitor yun? Napakahirap, di ba?
Yes, yes. But yun na nga, so
Ang
that's the
hirap-hirap
point.
eh.
So we talk about global prices being down and then binaba pa yung tariffs, but then why is it sa retail mataas pa rin? And that's one of the answers why. And the question there is, how do you go after these hoarders, smugglers,
At huwag niyong kalimutan,
importers?
dalawang SONA na nasa center ng speech ng presidente yan. Tapos na ang masasayang araw ng mga hoarders, smugglers, cartel. Inulit niya ulit sa third SONA. Pero wala pang nahuhuli. Di ba?
Naku,
Eh kasi,
magpo-fourth
baka
zone na tayo.
baka nabalitaan yung mga hoarder, smuggler, middlemen, puro politiko pala.
Yan. But they're hiding
At
in plain...
kalyado pala.
But you won't,
Kalyado pala.
you won't miss them. They're
Yun lang
hiding...
ang naiisip kong dahilan.
Yeah, they're-
Kaya untouchable untouchable, ano?
Huwag mo na isama sa SONA. Because they're hiding in plain sight. Yung tambakan ng mga ng mga hoard na yan, ay lalaki. Di ba? Hindi yan may
Yes.
tatago eh. No? Hindi yan may tatago. Tapos may listahan ng gobyerno, sino yung mga yan. It says implementation. At napapahiya yung presidente dahil dalawang SONA. Yan yung
So
kanyang
explain to me why it's so hard to crack down on them.
yung sinasabi ni Ami na baka
Politiko.
politically connected.
Marami dyan local,
Dahil
marami dyan local
wag mo
government
kalimutan
officials.
yung mga mayors, governors ng mga dynasties, may negosyo yan. At yung negosyo
Local
nila
government.
ay mga cartel, mga monopolies, no? So, pag lalo na election year, baka ayaw nilang galawin, baka makaapekto. So, I'm not sure, no? Pero usually the dynasties, the warlords, no, the political elites are connected with the economic elites, no? Dito
Yes.
sa
In
agriculture.
the local government side. But there can be no
Kaya
higher
nga.
political power than Malacanang.
Exactly.
So if Malacanang says go after the hoarders, smugglers, and importers, why can't they do it?
Exactly. Kaya nga dalawang SONA eh. At tingin ko, nung sinabi niya yon, akala niya may implement.
Magpo-fourth
Dahil,
zone na tayo.
ba't mo naman sasabihin kung hindi, wala naman palang mahuhuli. Wala naman palang mare-raid, no? So, yun yung mahalaga
Sa
dito.
bigas yun di ba, Ronald?
It's
Pati
a-
sa onions.
Yes,
Lahat-lahat na
it's a political
Pati sa onions,
commodity.
nagkilang congressional investigation na yung pinangalanan pa nga yung mga onion queen
Yes,
Nahuli
yes.
ba? Nasaan ba?
Wala.
Sino nakakulong?
Wala.
Sige nga.
At saka, Ami, rice is a political commodity.
It is.
It is
It
the
is.
staple food natin Kaya very political yan. No? Kaya baka,
Yes.
pag may nahuli silang hoarder, sa Malacanang uli, mag-press con.
So what do we think? Mag-appear din to sa next SONA. It's coming up in July.
Dapat meron na, bago mag-SONA, dapat meron na silang nahuli na raid na major. Di ba? Kundi mapapahiya sila sa next SONA. No? Lalo na sa next SONA ay crucial yung usapin ng impeachment. Di ba? Crucial yung usapin ng mortal battle nila. No? Open war with the Duterte, tapos wala kang nagawa. No? So, yun. No?
Kaya sabi ko,
Pero kung si Manny Mogato,
yung secretary, mag-resign na ako.
hindi, pero kung si Manny Mogato ang i-appoint sa agriculture, tatanggapin niya. Si Manny Mogato.
What can Manny Mogato do?
Sakit na ulo yan. Napakalaki na expectation sa'yo.
Utusan niya ako para i-raid yung mga hoarders. Walang politika-politika. No? Isasara ko yan.
Ikaw mismo magsasara.
With Ed Lingao.
Yeah.
No?
Just
Kung si Manny Mogato ang Secretary of Agriculture, naku, isasara namin yan.
mahirap.
Tapos ang source ko ng information, si Ami Pamintuan. No?
You know better than to
Kainin lang
make
si Manny, wala na yan. Tatahimik na yan. Sabi pakainin ng goto, wala na. Tapos na yung investigation.
Kaya nga baka maniwala sila. Joke lang yan.
Hindi ko alam if he's campaigning, but you know better than to make campaign promises, right? So we're gonna have to leave that there.
It's just implementation. It's just about political will.
The devil is in the
It's
details.
about political will. No?
Okay, we will pick up that point another time. For now, thank you so much for joining Storycon today. Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, a resident political pundit. Join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. for Storycon. I am Regina Lay, sitting in for Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.